A shot of vodka, a beer chaser, ready for a Russian night out. Think you know how to party? Ever done it in a Russian town most people couldn't find on a map? Yeah, me neither. Until last week. Forget your fancy cocktails and velvet ropes. We're talking about real people, real drinks, and enough local flavor to knock your babushka off. Now, I'm no stranger to a good time, but finding a decent bar in some of these towns? It's an adventure. That's half the fun though, right? The thrill of the hunt, the anticipation. It's all part of the experience. And trust me, when you finally find that hidden gem, it's all the more satisfying. Let's be real. Nobody wants to blow their travel budget on overpriced drinks. Especially not when you're in a place where the average monthly salary is less than your bar tab back home. The challenge is finding those local haunts where the drinks are cheap, the company is lively, and the atmosphere is, well, let's just say memorable. We spent a couple of nights wandering down cobblestone streets past dimly lit buildings and the occasional stray dog. Each bar we peeked into had its own personality. Some were filled with smoke and the sounds of drunken arguments. We steered clear of those. Others were too quiet, too empty, like walking into a sad song. We were starting to lose hope. And then, we saw it. Sandwiched between a grocery store and a hair salon was a place that looked like it had been teleported straight out of the Soviet era. The sign above the door was hand-painted and barely legible, but we could just make out the words, Cosmonaut Cantina. Intrigued? You bet your ass we were. This wasn't some tourist trap trying to cash in on nostalgia. This was the real deal. A place where time seemed to stand still, where the weight of history hung heavy in the air, along with the smell of cheap cigarettes and something that might have been borscht. We had to go in. Section 4, the Cosmonaut Cantina, stepping into another world. The inside was even more surreal than the outside. Imagine a dimly lit room adorned with faded Soviet-era space posters, model rockets hanging from the ceiling, and a giant portrait of Yuri Gagarin staring down at you. It was like stepping into a time capsule, or maybe onto the set of a low-budget sci-fi film. A handful of locals were scattered around the bar, nursing beers and shots of vodka. A couple of old men huddled over a chessboard in the corner, their faces illuminated by a flickering lamp. A woman with a voice like a rusty accordion belted out Russian folk songs. It was beautiful in a bizarre, can't-look-away kind of way. Section 5. Cheap drinks, rocket fuel, and karaoke. This is how we do it. The bartender, a woman who looked like she'd seen it all and then some, greeted us with a gruff nod. The menu, handwritten on a piece of cardboard, offered a limited but potent selection of drinks. Vodka, naturally, was the house specialty, served neat and in various questionable-looking infusions. We opted for beers, which were surprisingly good and ridiculously cheap. We spent the rest of the night soaking up the atmosphere, chatting with locals, mostly through hand gestures and the universal language of alcohol, and even braving a round of karaoke. Let's just say our rendition of Rocket Man was met with a mixture of amusement and bewilderment. Section 6. Small town, big night, mission accomplished. By the time we stumbled out of the Cosmonaut Cantina, several hours and countless toasts later, we were riding a wave of vodka-fueled euphoria. We'd come to Russia looking for an adventure, and we'd found it in the most unexpected of places. It wasn't just about the cheap drinks or the kitschy decor. It was about the experience, the people, the feeling of being transported to another time and place. It was a reminder that the best travel experiences often lie off the beaten path, waiting to be discovered by those willing to venture beyond the familiar. Section 7. What's your offbeat oasis? Share your stories. So, tell me, have you ever stumbled upon a hidden gem like the Cosmonaut Cantina? A place that defied your expectations and left you with a story to tell? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'm always on the lookout for my next adventure.